Well, it's nice to be back to work on the Jeepster again. Taking a few weeks to travel, get out to some warmer climate. Right now it's 15 degrees outside. My shop's at about 45 degrees. In my last video I talked about getting all the underbelly and floor and everything all prepped for paint. And I got all the inside all wire wheeled down and removed all the surface rust. And then come to the realization that it's just too cold to paint in here. So temperature wise, it needs to be about 60 degrees or better. I can easily get it that warm in here, but I can't ventilate it. And these chemicals for the type of paint that I'm going to be using, it's too dangerous without good adequate ventilation. And if I ventilate this garage, I can't keep the temperature up. So I'm going to have to set that idea aside and do some other things. So one of the projects that I've been wanting to do, and I'm just having a hard time grasping the whole idea, do I really want to do it? And that's these latches. These old latches are, they're just, face it, they're just not very good latch. There's no safety mechanism in it. It's either latched or it's not. And there's no way to adjust this handle. This handle tilts down a little bit. Well, I'm a perfectionist. I cannot get this handle to be perfectly straight and horizontal to the ground. So I thought about, well, all right, let's just remove the handle and I'll put a solenoid and a cable to release these latches. Well, because of the style of the latch and the way the mechanism works, it's got to be a very powerful solenoid to pull that latch. In my Buick, I did smoothed over delete handle and a solenoid, and the latches were similar. It was a good quality latch. It wasn't worn out, but it took I think it's like a 60 or 80 pound solenoid to pull that latch loose so that the door would open. And I had to put a pop on it, so I had to have a little spring-loaded kicker to kick the door open. Well, when you hit that solenoid button, clunk, clunk, it was loud. It was obnoxious. I don't want that again. So this is part of the dilemma. It just has this triangular piece and this latch right here slides over it. And it takes quite a bit of pressure to slam this door to get that pushed in. It's pretty strong spring mechanism. And then this piece, this little wedge, goes into this slot, and that aligns the door up and down. There is zero adjustment on this, and you can see these have been painted. They're locking up. It's not rust, it's just old grease and dirt. There's no way to get these out. They're all contained and welded into a piece that goes down through here, both inside and outside. This piece is adjustable, so I can adjust the pressure on that latch so that it doesn't rattle in and out, and I can adjust it so that it's smooth with the body. But it's wearing down, and it's got a pretty deep indentation on the back side of it. You can't buy these, so I have to make them. So that's another part of the dilemma. This cannot be fixed. There's no way to take it apart. I don't like it being painted. It should be nice plastic pieces, but you can see the springs are gone in it. I don't know what people are doing that are restoring these Jeepsters, but they're either having to cut the back side of this out and take this all apart and restore it, or what? I don't know. Or just live with it. I can't live with that. So that's got to go. That's got to go. This has got to go. And this, I don't know if you can really see it in the video, but it is very heavily worn up into these channels. So what's the alternative? The alternative for something like this, there's some great products on the market for aftermarket stuff. A really popular item is what's called a bear claw. Bear claw has something like this, but they typically have two claws on both sides for added measure. But the bear claws that have two, which is one I would prefer, is too large for this area. So this area is cut out, a plate is welded in, this bolts up inside of the door jamb. These work out really well for the dimension that I need. So this is the plate that replaces this area. This is the pin that replaces this area. This is concaved in. It needs to be flat straight across for this to work. So this has to be cut out. I want to get rid of this. This will be cut out. And I need to get rid of this. So I don't necessarily need to cut it out. It'll just be a matter of taking this piece out, filling over these holes, whether I just weld over a plate or something. Thing here, I'm just going to grind all the edges down, make a piece, weld right over it, and it'll just disappear. This area I have to cut out because I need to get the bolt on the back side of that, and there's no way to get in there, again, because of the way this is all made. It's like a big tube, just a rectangular tube right here. So it's got a lot of stability and strength in case it never gets hit from the side. So I will cut this out as well. And I have a pattern that I used that'll be for the new latch. And that is made out of a nice gauge. I think this is probably an 18 gauge piece that I bought that is stamped and bent. But you can see I have a double hump in here that goes along this rib. So it's recessed, so I have to bend this. So what I need is another bend right here, another 90. So an inverted 90 and then another outer 90, so I have this double bump. And then I will use this pattern to cut it to size. So what I ended up doing is I cut at the peak of these valleys so that I can have a smooth piece of metal. Same thing here, and then I cut right along this edge, and that'll give me a good strong point, an easy point to weld. And then I just have to create these bends. This is spot welded on, so what I need to do is I need to find the spot welds, grind those out, and then this piece will pop right out of there. Just a teeny bit large, but that will be really easy to grind that off where I want it. On my preliminary cuts, I'm really close. I didn't cut too much. So now I need to sharpen up this bend and create another bend and do a little more trimming. So to tighten up this bend, I'm just going to put it in the vise. Just tap that over a sharp 90. And that'll close that radius up. And now to get that opposite bend, now you can see I've got that extra bend in it. I just need to massage it a little bit. So there's part of the bend, and now I just need to come out about that far and create another bend. And I'm fortunate enough that this distance was pretty big originally for what I need. So by making this dip in it, I'm not losing the alignment that I need for that stud. Well, I've definitely got it positioned correctly. I've got it oversized just slightly, and I just need to cut this edge off and whittle away at it, file away at it, grind a little bit more, and that is exactly what I want. All right, let's try this little latch. I noticed that I can't get this up in here because it's so narrow, so I've got to box that in. And then that's the latch. It's all fitted nicely. Now I just need to grind all this weld down and clean it up, and then we'll go to work on that other side where the bolt sticks out. For this guy, I'm just going to weld over it. So I made me a little pattern, transferred onto a piece of metal, bent me the edge. Now I have that where I can just set in there with a magnet, and then weld it in. And now I'll do the same thing with this. Can't really make a pattern for all this, so I'll just origami it in. I'm going to start, so I'll start about there, and then just start working my way around it. I'll start with that bend, and just do the same thing as I did on these other pieces, just put it in the vise and bend it. By doing this, I can trim it until it fits. Okay, I'm happy with this piece now. Now's the real tricky part. I need to get the backing plate in here with the threaded piece, this guy, to fit in there. And then I'll have to drill a hole in this to thread this piece into. This piece actually works out great to be able to weld this backing place and retainer, because if you take this apart, this needs to float on the back of this, and then this retains it to hold it into position so it doesn't drop down too far. Like so. And that's the way it all works. So I will trim this off so that it fits in there. And then we'll start welding all the pieces together. Alright, as you can see, I've got this all test fitted in. Everything's just kind of balanced there. I'm going to tack it in a few spots and then test fit the bear claw on the door and make sure everything's perfect before I burn it all in. Got to come up about 1/4 of an inch. I need to make sure I have that much movement before I finish burning it in. About flush on the outside. That's dead on. Perfect. Has a nice smooth release. Simple closure. It's quiet. It's tight. So that is excellent. Just beautiful finish. Now it's just a matter of finish welding that in, grind down all those welds, skim coat it with a little filler, slap on some primer, sand it all down. You get the idea. It's not done yet, but the hard part's done. So that's it for now. Once I get all that smoothed in, then I want to start working on getting these doors to actually fit. The gaps are really good along both front and the rear of the door. The gaps along the bottom are terrible. So I'll show you how to fix those gaps. Hopefully I don't have to do a whole lot of cutting. Sometimes you gotta split along the edge and open it up and re-weld it. If I have to do it, I'll do it. Hopefully I don't have to. These doors have got a lot of holes drilled in them from the logos they had from the Shriners. It's got a couple little dings in it. So these are going to be pretty easy to finish the surface. And then I want to put a straight edge along all these and make sure they're perfectly flat across both panels. I want these gaps perfect. I want to look down the side of this and have it be laser straight. So thanks for watching. Appreciate you tuning in. Give me a like, subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks again. Goodbye for now.